All right, Trenton Thunder fans, Travis Lonix here, joined back with Trenton Thunder manager Shawn Chacon. Been a little bit, we're back. Thanks for joining me again, Shawn here. You guys are en route now from West Virginia to Frederick for the final two games this first half of the season. Again, first off, thanks for hopping back on here after this game on the bus ride.
Absolutely, Travis. Thanks for having me. It's been a minute.
Yes, sir, of course.
This is the medicine we need.
Yeah, hopefully. Start off, guys. Just finished the three games, the series out there in West Virginia. The series loss at 5-3 Tuesday, tight game. 6-1 win last night. And then 14-zip and being the final score tonight. But we'll kind of recap the whole past week. Start off, I guess, West Virginia, though. How was, not the outcome we wanted in the series, but how was the time out there? First time this season, right?
It was the first time out here play on turf. This is a nice stadium, nice facility, but we played very good baseball the first night in. One of those games that was close the whole way. We pitched well overall, and they had some really good arms that night, and it's kind of hard to get through these guys. But, the outcome wasn't what we wanted. But, as managers, coaches, we were happy with the baseball we played. It was a fast game. It was clean, and that's kind of, you can sort of live with losses when you play well and you don't. Fast forward to yesterday, that was a good game. I think the champ was the key to that game. He came out and threw 6 strong, and he shut that offense down.
Yeah.
And our offense is able to put runs up and then add more later, which is always the right formula.
Yeah, and we'll go through, I guess, maybe these games first, and we'll go back to the homestand over the weekend. So yeah, that first game.
Go ahead, Trev. Sorry.
What were you gonna say?
I was just reiterating I wanted to talk about the long trip again because I didn't want that to get lost in this shuffle here out in between these two games, 2 losses, because he stepped up. Obviously, we're short on pitching towards the end of this first half as guys been leaving to rest and stuff. But he came out and again a really, really good hitting team in West Virginia and kept them off balance. He pitched and when you look at the box score, he dominated. And this is one of your guys that has. This isn't one of those guys that has 96, 97. So he again, I want to give him his props because that's pitcher of the week type stuff against that team.
Yeah.
So then tonight, let's talk about tonight. Tonight was one of those games. It was close again. We were there for the first few innings, and the wheels fell out. So just one of those things, like our team, our staff, more specifically, if we don't pitch well, it tends to snowball. And that's just one of the things that has been, happening, here and there all season long. So it's frustrating. It's, it's disappointing just because, there's guys that play well and then you can kind of see the wind taken out of them. But, it's baseball. So we will adjust and move forward.
Yep. Again, the long champs line went 6 innings, got the win there, 5 hits, some run, no walks, 3 Ks. I said that was big time. Going in this final week, I noticed a lot of guys left and pitchers, position guys, said short on arms. So he gave you guys real good length, as did Kai Fike on Tuesday night, going 5 innings in that game.
Yeah, Kai was amazing too. He pitched. He pitched competitively. He pitched with confidence, and again, he was coming off that. The message was, hey guys, you just got those strikes to give yourself a chance and give defense a chance, and they took Fike especially took that to heart. He came out and he gave us 5 strong innings, and again. Baseball is pitching and defense when it comes to winning ball games. And then of course offense will, you have to score runs to even win, but you don't hold leads. You don't add runs late in the game unless you have good pitching. So Kai Fight was outstanding as well.
Yeah, it's awesome. You guys scored run at third, 2 in the fifth to tie it, and they had those 2 runs late in the game to win it off a new pitcher. So it was Stifles or Sifleys.
Yeah.
But Ryder guy. And JJ Almeida, we'll get to him more later on again, but I saw you threw another squirrel outing inning Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, JJ's been solid for us. Still, he's a new guy. He just stepped on the team, and we put him right in the game. He's a different type of pitcher. Also, he throws 65-mile-an-hour curveball, between his fastball. So, it's fun to see, and he's super competitive. But JJ Almeida, he's a guy that came out, was slotted for the second half of the season, but with our need of pitching, he was able to come out early to finish this first half, and he's been outstanding as well. He competes and he steps up in a lot of key situations, and he's proven that he can handle it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Position guy new this week, Jared Beebe. The win, a couple hits, I believe. Puts on him. This team.
Yeah, he another new guy, Jersey guy. I think he went to St. John's.
Yep.
He's another guy with the mass exits that we have with first half players leaving. He was the local guy that we called. He was able to step in, could play corner bases, and he's a big bat. So the first game out there, his first couple at bats, he's just trying to get his feet under him, his timing, but he was able to then come through with some key base hits that definitely contributed to that win. So I look forward to seeing him play more, get a chance to work with him, and have our hitting coach work with him and, see what he's really capable of. But I think he's going to be good and a lot of help for us.
Yeah, it's awesome. Then more relievers from yesterday in the win. Aiden Weaver, the strong 7th, 2 Ks, and then Colin Bosley-Smith, the 8th and 9th squirrels.
Yeah, it was good to get those guys back on track. Well, first of all, Bosley's been out. He had family stuff to attend to, so we just got him back, on Tuesday. But he's been consistent all season. It was just a matter of getting him back with the team so he can throw. But it was good to see him. He threw strong innings. And then Weaver was a guy that we were, wanted just to see his confidence back. His last few outings or prior, he struggled a little bit. So, it was awesome to see him come out and pretty much dominate the inning that he pitched, just for himself, so that now he knows it's there, and I think that should propel him to have a good couple last games.
It's awesome. Yep. Now, let's go back to the 3 games at home last weekend. So with Friday, July 4th, we talked last Thursday after the crazy comeback win. July 4th, had a back at home for the 4th, the walk-off win. Danny Corona. We didn't get to talk after that, which wasn't feeling too good, but it was a great win at home, right? The crowd was electric, and what a great comeback win after having the lead. You guys had a 2-1 and fell behind 4-2 in the 9th. Came back with 3 in the 9th in that game.
Yeah, man, that was a fun night. I wish it was so closer in my memory, because with baseball, you got to move on to the next game. But that was definitely one that, it's a good kind of bonding moment for the team. It's kind of like a walk-off, kind of just, something that every team deserves, especially when they work hard and you talk about process and this and that. And I think the walk-off, it's those are games that you think about, you kind of pretend to have, even as a kid. And I think for Daniel Corona, that was probably a big moment and a big, confidence booster, because he's carried it out this past week.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, you guys, it was a good game. It was 2-1 for a lot of time. Just like you said, fell behind in the 9th, 4-2. 3 runs, went in the 9th, got guys chipping in. Also, Gavin King had a real strong start after the early homer in that game. His start.
Yeah, he came out, and the funny thing is, leadoff homer, it doesn't look good per se from an outside point of view, but we all know in baseball, solo home runs and home runs are rally killer. You know, it's like this big exciting thing, but it disrupts the momentum of the game. So I just told him, hey, it was a solo homer, nobody hurt, and he came back, so hit into I believe it was the 6th or 7th. I'm mistaken.
In the 6th inning, and he came out.
Yeah,
yep.
Pitched in the 6th. He got worn down a little, but it was his last start, so we expected him to be competitive and be in that game, and he was. So we got to refresh our memory who followed him.
Yeah, then Miles Garrett came in, bases loaded, got a double play ball.
That's right. He did. Came in, got a double play ball. Our defense had been playing well. That was huge, and I think he got us out of that jam.
Then it was McGrath threw 2 strong innings, 4 Ks in that game.
Oh yeah, McGrath was. So we decided to use him as a closer because the game was so close that game. So we decided to use him as a closer early in the game rather than later. As we figured that was the key point. And actually, he stepped up and again did what he did all summer. After his first outing with us, he was dominant, and I don't think he gave up a run, let alone a hit. So to see him do that and then hold that game, it just kept the crowd in it, and it was it led to an exciting finish, man.
Yeah, like I said, we were struggling a little bit. You have the runs, but then I guess the resiliency to fight in the team, to be up, fall behind, come back. So a lot of guys chipping in. Leading up to Corona's game winning 2-run single there in the 9th inning, working at bats.
Yeah, it was just one of those games where the guys decided, you know what, we're gonna pick you up, and you get in front of a crowd like that. It's a close game, and they're playing so well, and the guy struggles, and it's not for a mistake or anything. It's just baseball. So, when you do that, it's easy to keep, to grab momentum back, and it's easy for hitters if they're not standing out there for an hour to come back in and get your runs back. But our hitters, the experience, maturity, showed in, and they were patient, getting on base, taking walks, stepping up, just get a base hit, kind of moving around, station to station. And then you get into a position, in a big moment, and Daniel Corona seized it. And it was definitely a highlight in the season. Yeah,
definitely a big highlight. It was your 5th straight win in a row. You guys are absolutely rolling, playing great baseball, team ball, getting the wins. And going in there, we were in first place, big game Saturday night versus the State College Spikes. And getting this whole game here. So it ended up being a sudden death loss. Call it 4-3 or sudden death loss. But get the whole game. It was well played, 0-0 through 3 innings. Spikes were ahead by a run. In the 4th, you guys got 2 in the 4th. Go ahead, 2-1. Another run in the 5th. Spikes were able to tidy up with 3 in the 7th inning. That's the way scores stayed tied. Both teams some good chances late in the game to go ahead, score some runs, but they could not. And then that sudden death, you guys get to choose pregame, right? Whether you want to play defense or hit.
Right.
And these guys chose defense, runner on first base, nobody out. If you hold them, you guys win. If you score the run, they win the game. And where it sets up was J.J. Almeida pitching after getting out of the 9th inning. 2 men on, 1 out, back-to-back case like he did the other night. Frederick, insane, amazing. Put him back out there. And then the runner takes off second base. Just trying to take it from there. Looks like he's out. Umpire calls obstruction. I want to give your take on it, I guess.
Oh, man. That's a tough one. That series we played, so well up to that, and even through the end of that game. And the bad part about it is, when the players, they play so well, and it's back and forth, and it's competitive. And the baseball is so good, it's just tough to have it decided by an umpire, and an umpire's, I guess, for lack of a better term, terrible call.
Yeah.
It's just, he put Grant Jacobs back out there because, he was he's the type of guy that pull runners on, pick off, and stuff like that. So when he did his job, he got the runner. He didn't get a good jump, and Schroeder threw him out, man. And the obstruction call on second base on a stolen base, like it's such a hard play to see it all, and unless it's deliberate and he's trying to block the base, then there's really no reason to acknowledge it. And that was the case. Like Maxey received the ball at where the ball was thrown way before the runner got there, and by rule, you catch the ball before he gets there. Just like it is at home plate, like you don't have to get out of the way to tag it. The rule is if you don't have the ball, you can't block the base. So, we watched the video and it was wrong. So the problem there is, that changes the whole course of the inning.
Yeah.
And definitely the game. You take that runner off the bases with one out, the chances of them scoring a run are, really, really low. So, it kind of led to me, letting the umpire know he didn't like it. He didn't want to ask for help because he was being stubborn. And, in my opinion, he knew he was wrong after thinking about it for even making that call. And it's kind of been a theme. And I'm not one to blame umpires, but we've had a lot of calls, game-changing calls against us this season. And it's tough, to reason with your players, hey, it's okay, it's umpire's call when and they know that it's a bad call. So, I hope we can get the umpire thing worked out to where, they take a little more pride and understanding into what they're doing and why they're here in this league, because it's definitely not to take the shine from these guys that are trying to get drafted.
Yeah, and like you said, terrible call, and then just the timing was just so brutal. That point in the game, that spot. I had never seen that call before. I was looking up the day after other plays of it being called and stuff like that. And had the full video. A lot of people were commenting about it. But, yeah.
I just don't know what you're supposed to do then at that point if you're an infielder. And if you're a catcher, like throw it to the bag, an infielder has to catch it at the bag. Now, it's such a bang-bang play that unless his knee drops, which, mind you, we've had shortstops and other infielders do that to us. Graber got concussion when the shortstop dropped his knee in Williamsport, and they called him out, without hesitating. So, again, like you said it, the timing of it also, like in sudden death, you're going to take the lead on that and make that call, which is never called. And, you're taking it out of the player's hands and letting them play the game. So, in my mind, after that, it took the wind out of our sails. I got thrown out. And if I could do it, I would do it 10 times over again, the same way. And if I could have kicked some more dirt on him, I wish I would have.
Yeah. Love that. But, like I said, kick the sails out. Like I said, been rolling. It was a huge game for the standings in the season, going in the final week and everything. And like I said, the call and took away from, like I was saying before, like recapping a real good game. You had, we'll get more of the game, Tommy Case, a high school kid, threw 3 no-hit innings, 6 Ks in that game.
Man, he was awesome, dude. We called it the Tommy Case Revenge Tour because, if you remember, his start before that was he didn't get any outs against West Virginia. And so he was anxious to come back, that's for sure. And he came back and proved why 17-year-old kids would pitch in the draft league. Like, he was really good, really sharp. And I look forward to seeing his journey in baseball for sure.
Yeah, it's awesome. And that's when Luke Longchamp, his first appearance out of the pen. 3 2/3, really grinding, 6 hits, 3 runs, 4 Ks, but threw pretty well, all right, out of the pen there.
Yeah, he did really well. That's what decided us to put him in the starting role. It's because it's the way he went about it over multiple innings, and you could just see that his pitch ability is really high. He knows what he has. He's not afraid to be aggressive with what he has, and he knows what type of pitcher he is. And, when you do that, like, you're effective. I don't care what kind of stuff you have. So, and we were justified by what he just did in his last start.
Yeah, Ronnie get a couple runs, tough outing for him there coming in, but then 2 runs tour. Then JJ Almeida, like I said, after Frederick, what he did coming in there in the tie game, 8th inning. Second, third, nobody out, 3 strikeouts. 9th inning, he had second and third, 1 out, or base loaded, 1 out, apologies. And it was nails, some back-to-back strikeouts. One was fastball, one was a curveball dropped in there beautifully. Touched on him a little more, and also just like how he stays so calm out there in those big spots so far.
Yeah, Ronnie came in and he's been so dominant just the last few weeks of his season out here that that was bound to happen if you play the game of baseball. And that's another part about baseball that your team knows that, So here's a guy, Andrew Ronnie, who's closed games down and shut it all down when needed. And, players offensively, especially, like, that goes a long way, So they had, they had to pick him up, and they did. And, when JJ came in Frederick, it was one of those where we didn't anticipate when we got him warmed up that it would be a tie game. We were up 2 runs, or down 2 runs, I'm sorry. And so it was one of those where, like, okay, he just got here. He just flew into Frederick. Let's get him out there, get his legs loose, Not that we're giving up by any means, but we didn't expect a high leverage situation that developed. So, he came in, he got runs on base, but, man, the test of a pitcher is when, like you just said, he didn't seem panicked. He looks in the dugout. We're like, you got it, dude. And his ability to calm himself down is what got him through that inning, not his stuff. So I like to point that out to guys. Like, it's not your stuff that's going to get you through. It's your desire, it's your will, it's your ability to slow the game down and give yourself a chance by executing, what you do. So then fast forward to his next outing, we find himself in there, and they just let us be able to trust him, And that's one of those things where you're like, well, here you go again, throw you in the fire, so to speak. But, it's one of those things where you're like, we know he's going to compete no matter what happens. And that's all you can ask for. So he did it again. And that's kind of where he sits right now. He's our guy, the back end of this thing.
It's awesome, yep. And one more thing about this game, bottom 8, had Harry again, 1 out walk, still second, still third. Unfortunately, Whitley shell fly ball, then Juju Stevens hustled out that ground ball. Unfortunately, went down after he hit first base there, end the inning, and he's been out now this week. How's his health and how's he doing?
That's why that loss was so tough, I think. That was the loss, right? The 10th inning game?
Yeah, that game. That was end of bottom 8.
That's why this game was so tough to lose, because we lost. It seemed like we lost so much more than just that game, Yeah. Losing Juju was, he had like an MVP type season. I'm not even joking. And there was a few guys on our team, but he was a big part of this lineup, the team, the mojo and everything. So losing him to that quad injury hurt. He's doing okay now. He's, he may get a chance to feel better in the next couple of days. He's progressed a lot. Get his treatment. He's doing all the stuff that he needs to do. So hopefully, he'll be able to squeeze it at least on that bat before this thing ends.
Yeah, be good. Yeah, it's good. It's not long term. Like I saw a live happen. Go down, did not look good. At least...
No, it didn't look good, and we all were more worried about his hip or his hip flexor, but it ended up being a quad that he pulled actually coming out of the box. So,
oh, gosh.
But he's, he's taking it slow. We told him that there's no reason for actually, he's got another year still left at school. So I think at this point, we just say, hey, you had a great summer. On that, hopefully you get drafted. If not, there's no doubt in my mind that when it's healthy, to play at the next level.
Yeah, 100%. And I said MVP season, and then right there, his final at bat there, tie game, chopper to third base, absolutely hustling it, trying to beat it out to get this go ahead run scored there. That's the type of player he is all around.
Yeah, and that's part of the thing that you admire But at the same time, you're like, dang it, like, just because he wanted to win, that happened, So it seems like he wasn't trying to beat out a big hit with, in the first inning that trying to get himself a hit. Like, he knew that if he beat that out and Harry again scores, we go into the ninth and win that game. So that's, that's the sad part of it too. Because we play the game the right way, but, an injury happens. But I think it's just the bummer, man.
Yeah, totally. I feel for him. And so real rough game or tough game. To call Juju going out, getting that loss there and sudden death. And you guys, I wasn't at the game Sunday. 18-zip the final score. The game that I was following it. It's at Yankees Met City Field. It was 4-zip for a while until the 12-run eighth inning. But,
it seemed like a common thing with us. We're in there, we're hanging in there 4-0 like tonight, and then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. So that was one of those games where, the night before was we had kind of a hangover from it. If you see that afterwards, you don't make an excuse, but
yeah,
an emotional loss like that, man, that's hard to come back and play a day game, So there's also guys leaving that day, and I think half of them, were half in, half out. And I'm not knocking them by any means, but like I said, that loss the night before, it took a lot out of everybody. So
yeah,
that's something that you do that, you come into the game and it's close, and then you just kind of you have a bad taste in your mouth, And unfortunately, we couldn't hold it together long enough to right the ship, and it just kind of it fell apart in a major way. But by no means do we shy away from that or use it to define the season or anybody's season. It's just one of those games that you got to take something from it, whether it be be better prepared, whether it be just taking a better approach to the game, or even just wear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I want to ask you about your starter in that game, Joe Arriola. Did he come out early, 26 pitches? Was he injured or just took?
Yeah, he was having shoulder issues, so we noticed his velocity down. And in that second inning, we went out there, and he was definitely feeling some uncomfortable discomfort in his throwing shoulder. So I'm not sure what it diagnosed as, but that kind of set the ball rolling, so to speak, and got us into the bullpen early, and then the rest is history. Thank God.
Yeah, definitely. Ended up having some guys that probably never pitched before, like Sullivan, Sheffield, who really take the mound at the end of that.
It's tough in games like that, man, because we're out of pitching. They do it everywhere at every level, right?
Yeah.
Got to throw a pitcher at some point if the score gets out of hand, but usually it kind of stops the bleeding, so to speak. But this time, just kind of kept rolling. Sullivan threw well, but it got to the point where you're like, you don't want to get anybody hurt. So if I didn't have to do it, I wouldn't have. That's just needs. We got to adjust better, and we got to have enough pitchers on the team where that doesn't happen.
Now, you said after that game, and guys leaving and everything. Touched on, I guess, when you guys left for West Virginia, kind of what the message was. A lot of new guys on the team, and going on that final road trip.
Well,
for a week.
The message when the other guys left. I mean, we lost, good players, and when I say good players, not knocking the players that are still here, but we lost guys that were, like dudes in our lineup or on our pitching staff. So, anytime you lose guys like that all at once, it's going to definitely affect the mojo, and it's going to affect the clubhouse. It's going to affect, your success as a team. But the message was that it was an opportunity time for players. So there's going to be guys that spots are opened up, and it was time for other dudes to step up and take advantage of an opportunity. And, there's a couple days left, to establish that, to do that. But, I would definitely say guys like the long champ, coming in and doing, his thing. As far as pitching goes, it's been a bright spot, and also Almeida. So we'll move forward these last two games.
Yeah.
The message and the mission doesn't ever change. We're trying to develop and get guys prepared for the next level, whatever level that may be, and that's what we do to the end. So we'll go to Fredericks looking to kick their butt, and then we'll call it a half.
Yes, sir. Final 2 games at Frederick, Maryland. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock first pitch. Saturday, 6 o'clock first pitch. I'll be going out there myself with photographer Carl Rizzo Saturday, so it'll be cool to see you guys out there. But yeah,
it sounds fun, man. We'll wrap this thing up on a positive note, and I expect these guys to play some good baseball.
All right, yes, sir. Thanks for hopping on here, Shawn. Great time, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Travis. Talk to you later, man.
Yes, sir.